I love that it's just is the only face. Like, Kevin, are you listening to me? I appreciate you smiling back.
Me too.
It almost looks like his name is Julie Johnson.
And you gave me a thumbs up. Oh, funny.
Is he in it?
No, he's up today. All right, let's get started. People will start rolling in. As we all know, real estate agents come between 11 and 11:05. All right, bucket fills and something good that's going on right. Look, whoa.
Okay,
This is honest.
our accountability group, like meeting from 10 to 11 is, we might need more chairs in there because it's popping, okay? It's awesome and it's great, so.
I love
Yeah.
that.
There's lots of. That's nice. Fun, for sure. All right, what else?
Okay, well, just something personal that happened. My daughter started fully walking this past week. And so that has been super fun, and she's just like an absolute wreck right now, but it's great. And then bucket fill, she's not here. But Carla, Haley, she kind of like brought me in and I helped out with the Parade of Homes this week, or this past weekend, and then I did a showing on Sunday, and it was really great.
Super cool. What else? What else is good? There's gotta be more stuff that's good than that. I'm just gonna hang out until you can think it's something you're grateful for, positive about this week.
I got my first ever lead. I was.
Hey. Okay, tell me a little bit about this lead from the website. So where was it? Like, where did you put the website, right? Or did they just come to the website?
So I did like a standalone GoDaddy one,
Okay,
and I did the one where you can do like the Google Analytics, and do like.
Yeah.
That. I gotta go back.
awesome. I asked that because people in conversation are like, nobody goes to the website. I don't even know why you have a website. And I'm like, how long have you been licensed? How long have you been licensed? Like, new, very new, right? And she has a website lead, so just, putting that out there. Like I usually say, can we talk about this? What else is good? Selena.
Danielle had an open house and got 3 listing appointments and signed a buy sell.
What was the script?
It was a good property and I guess it was just, are you interested in finding out what your home is worth and are you looking to move? And all of them were interested. I think that the spring market is here and people are itching.
You
to
asked
move.
questions and then they were like, yeah, I am actually in the market to move. Awesome. That's
Nice
super
job.
cool.
That's awesome.
All right, what else is good?
I had my son's roommate's parents reach out to me this past week and want me to find them a $1.6 million investment property on Lake.
That's not a bad investment property. That's one.
You're like, that's a nice one. To have somebody come to you when you're
Yeah.
always reaching out to other
Yeah.
people, it was nice to have somebody.
Super cool. All right, 2 more. I know we've got 2 more. That over on this side of the lane. Rick, what's good?
Everything.
That's the attitude that we need. Here's one thing.
I told everybody that I didn't have any sales the second half of last year. So I just started Sherry and I started busting our butt, like getting houses ready. I mean, my wife's car was full of tools, just doing everything it took to get these houses on the market, ahead of the market. So last week we sold 3 of them in 2 days, all in multiple offers. Got a buyer who from one of those open houses. They didn't get the house. They were unrepresented, so they became my buyer, and I found them another one. So that one's locked up and pending. And Sherry and I just got a contract back on a 3.5 that's being accepted. So we're rolling.
Nice.
We're moving now.
This is like the 3rd person I've heard about open houses. Does everybody have an open house for this weekend?
Yep. Yes.
You have
Doing
8?
them every weekend.
Okay, so if you don't have an open house, there are people that I know need open house help, right? So this is where coming together with, hey, I don't have a listing, but there are plenty of people that have multiple listings that cannot do all the opens on their own. So like truly get together on that piece, because being able to have 4 different appointments that you said you had, at least one from the open house, that's huge. That's a great lead source. So if that's your number 1 goal this week, find an open house. Find an open house to do. All right, one more. What's the last good thing? The weather is nice. The weather's really nice. Yeah. Do we need to get up and do jumping jacks? Like, I'm serious. Like, there should be more good things right now than this. We do this every single week, Jessica.
Scott and I, picked up a non-represented buyer at my open house last weekend. And they're gonna buy a non-MLS lot on Lake Minnetonka and build with Scott.
Wow.
That one.
That's exciting.
All right, Candy, do you want to come up here? And so our 66-day lead gen challenge is over. It's over. Should I like shake
Yeah, I
this?
feel like you should.
That's not really, yeah. I don't really know if that works.
I thought it was gonna be.
Which, by the way, this is a 66-day lead gen challenge. 66 days of lead genning 1 hour a day.
There should be more in there. I know like 3 of them are.
You forgot, right? That's not gonna happen.
Guys,
I mean, I just hope you're all doing it.
Are we
just to
actually
put it in
lead
there.
genning? And if we're sitting in here and we're like, I'm really struggling right now. Well, I could probably tell you why. Right? Like, this isn't even 66, like, this isn't even 66 pieces of paper. Hardly. Maybe it is.
$100 gift
Like-
card, right?
Come on, guys.
All right, I'm gonna go deep.
I'm excited. I can see everyone's name you're picking right now. Shut up.
I must have a magnet
Rick?
to your name.
Oh, I was so bummed when I won the first
So
one.
we
for $5.
lead gen. You got the first one and the second one.
Hey, it worked. I got the sales. I won in five.
Well, and look, so you've been doing the lead gen and you've gotten the bid.
Only 3 in there. You picked 2 of them.
Literally.
You're magnetized here. Well polished.
I would say it's a numbers game, but I guess not.
I won $5 worth of coffee, which didn't get me a coffee last time. What did I win this time?
$500.
It's a $500 gift card to your choice of
Whoa.
forever.
Of your choice.
Oh, yeah. Could it be
You
started?
know it's got to be.
Yeah, you get R&R done.
Yeah, R&R, I think, where are we
That's
going? I
cool,
think
that's
that, oh,
cool.
yeah, you want a co-op gift card?
Well, congratulations.
That's funny.
All right, moving on. Can't even believe that. All right, so the March training calendar, we do have the business planning today, right after this, right, at 12:30.
30, it starts at 1.
And you have to register, right? Because is there material that Bethany Nelson Group is putting together? So if you haven't registered for that, go on and register for it now, if they still can, correct?
Do you want to give us any brief little words about it, or, because they can still register, correct?
You want to give some brief words about today? It's tactical business planning broken down to exactly all of your splits, including taking out your cap and royalty, and then working it backwards into how many phone calls that equals, how many open houses that equals. It's the most detailed plan personally ever.
Awesome. I saw the spreadsheet and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's.
I
really cool.
highly recommend if you don't have a business plan in place.
Even if you do have a business
Yeah.
plan in place, I think this is a great time when we're coming to the end of first quarter of where am I? Am I on pace? Because if I'm not on pace, what do I need to do to get on pace, right? Because it's, if, hey, I'm doing lead gen every single day, but I'm not making the appointments and closing the deals. Okay, great, we need to shift something at some point.
It's why we called it blow up your business plan, because if your business plan isn't working for you, blow up your old one and let's make a new one.
I just want to ask my friend Bethany, why are you doing this? This is like out of the goodness of your heart or what? You're not,
I'm doing it just for
are you
you,
getting
Rick.
paid? Are you getting paid?
No.
No, we.
Well, this is why is wonderful about this
how
company
cool
is
is
that the
this?
company agents for agents, and part of that is just being a great
Yeah.
against the cultural wars that she got last year. Reinvesting your money earned back in your business. This is gonna be a really good panel. I actually wrote some of the questions for John on this. But it's truly about running a business right now, right? A lot of us, do you have a P&L? Probably now you do, because tax season is coming up, so you're figuring out your P&L in the next month or two, right? But it's not there all year long usually. However, we make the money and usually the money goes right back out, or we make the money and the money was already spent. That's a reality of this business and real estate agents in general. So part of this is, how do you take the money that comes in and you reinvest it to like build the business, right? Not just spend it and just keep letting it kind of go out. There's some really great agents on that panel. Mega agent interviews with Nikolai Holm. That's at the Edina Market Center. Collective team meeting is next week, and that's actually with David Arbit. So when we want to talk about local economy and kind of what's going on in the market, he's always really, really fun to hear. We will have it streamed here, but being in person, being able to ask questions and kind of engage with people during that is always a huge benefit. So again, that's at the Edina Market Center, 11 o'clock in lieu of this team meeting. And then we have R&R at Hope. Is that correct? Do you want to speak a little bit about that next week?
Yeah, I think last time at Cole, we took like 2.5 tables and it was from 4 to 6, but it kind of went from like 4 to 8, you know?
Yeah.
It was awesome. And we had a couple of new agents stop by that were out on a walk. I mean, it was great. So,
That was fun.
well, yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was his birthday too.
yeah, it was so crazy.
Yeah.
So a new realtor was out on a walk with his dad on his birthday and we texted him, hey, we're at Cole for the happy hour. And he rolls in and spent that whole entire time with us. It was just awesome.
Super fun.
So those are great. You guys should go to those because it's a really, when you see all these people in the room, it's a really good way to get to know people. Like getting to know these guys a little bit. You go to pickleball and stuff and all of a sudden they're there, you know, and you don't get to talk to people
Yeah.
socially unless you're in an environment like that. It just makes it easy.
Absolutely. How to write copy for social media, that's with Gordon. And then we have Bethany Nelson Group is doing their call night next Thursday as well. And they always open the invitation for lead generation of other agents. So what time does that start? At 5?
4 to 6, we do provide food, so we'll have some snacks and you just call with us for 2 hours.
Awesome. And then Value Squared is the 26th. We have our team meeting the 27th, and then a mock listing presentation in Minneapolis with Anna Lee. Anna Lee was the one on the last collective team meeting, and people were asking if that was something that she could do. So she will be doing that live in person. I think that will also be probably recorded as well. Any questions regarding any of the trainings? Awesome. Ooh, free CE coming your way. Talk all about this, Candy.
I will. It is that time of year again, so start thinking about your continuing ed. It's due preferably by June 15th. So indoor air series, that's through the Department of Health. All of those classes are going to be at the lake. You do have to pre-register, and there's a QR code that's also on our Facebook group, and we'll email it out. And then on April 9th here at our market center, we're going to have 1 hour CE brought to us by Cinch, and they will be here for that. And then they are also providing lunch, so stay for lunch. And then we have another CE for 2 credits, following that from 1 to 3. So in that day, you can get 3 credit hours plus lunch. So mark your calendar for that
So,
day.
I mean, with those 2 days, or with those things combined, you can have like, what? 5-6 hours of CE done. And we all know that Candy works really hard around May, June time, making sure that you guys are getting your CE. I speak for myself, who it usually is at the last minute. Let's not do that to her this year so that she can enjoy the beginning of summer and not worry that your license is going to get sent back, because it will get sent back if you do not complete your CE.
And it takes 7 days to get back, so.
7 days. And that's a really weird conversation to have with a listing when the listing is no longer in your name.
Do we by chance have the required module being offered here?
Amy's thinking about teaching that out in Vegas in like the second week of
Mhm.
That's local, yeah.
That's what Scott would like.
He's thinking about his P and L for this year.
Yeah. He's like, let's do it.
It was offered last month. I don't see it being offered again through the collective. So you would want to look through either MAR or Kaplan or the CE shop for that probably.
Awesome. All right, before we welcome, do you want to do the lender minute for like a hot second?
Sure, what do we
Come on
got?
up.
Okay. Yeah.
Introduce yourself
Yeah,
first.
hey, all right, Ben Coulter, we're Supreme Lending. It's myself and Eric and Jack, you know, we're the three kind of amigos that are out here, right?
Yeah.
You know, right? So we're trying to work up some images, some graphics, but, just,
We were in a meeting last week. and
Sombreros.
this Came out, like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you can wear sombreros.
yeah. We got ponchos, but not sombreros. We gotta eat it all together. Anyway, just kind of did you go over like the credit?
I haven't done anything yet.
Oh,
We're
okay.
waiting for you.
All right, so we did send over some information. What we're seeing like currently right now in the market is we're seeing credit pulls are way up. I sent some graphics over, but I think we're at about very similar numbers to last year right now at this time period, which is kind of good. That's when we kind of got busy. You know, it started popping this March got busy, April got busy. Applications are up as well. January was terrible for us.
Yeah,
Right,
so-
numbers
so
are really, really
Credit
bad.
pulls in January were 106 or 161,
Yeah,
moving up in February to 196. Not even halfway through the month, we're at 82 right now and it's
Yeah.
projected at 164.
yeah.
And then applications, January was 47, February 64, we're already at 29 and projected for 87 this month. So, I mean, just seeing kind of the reason we talked about that, right, is we never really have an idea of what inventory of buyers looks like,
Yeah.
but this is the best indicator that we can kind of grab onto.
Yeah, so what do we have for credit pulls? We had, right now, we're looking at, you know, about 246, like
Proposed,
projected,
yeah.
right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which would be higher than our last 12 months kind of floating numbers, which to me tells me that there is a lot of pent up buyers out there right now. Which is great, right? And our applications are out, which means we're disclosing loans. That's happening for closings within the next 30 to 60 days, right? So again, we're seeing a lot of pent up people right now. I would say the majority of the buyers we're seeing are first time home buyers, down payment assistance stuff, some multifamily things as well. We are starting to see some renovation loans popping, where people aren't able to get into like, you know, Lennar. First, you know, it's not really a first time home buyer stuff. We're seeing a lot of people kind of looking at places that are a little more beat up, like the imperfect house in the perfect neighborhood is kind of the way. So I mean, we either do, you know, 2 or 3K renovation loan, home style renovation loans, but those are helping as well, you know, so depending upon what market people are in. That's kind of what we're seeing out there.
Awesome.
Yeah, first time home buyers is huge. There's new first gen programs like $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 down payment assistance. It's things out there. There's activity. People want to buy,
That's
you
awesome.
know?
So what we're gonna do every single week is we're gonna have one of them come up, do a little short information, whether or not it's credit pulls, applications. If there's other things that you guys want to know about in a short period of time, right? Let us know so that I can let them know and say, hey, what I'm really curious about is this. And then we'll pull that information for you so that you have something to kind of go by each week. All right, thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
All right, so this is really fun. We have a lot of new faces in the market center. So, you know, when you see them, we put their pictures up here, but always when you're like, I don't know, I haven't seen you, introduce yourself, because it's really kind of overwhelming when you're new to be like, hi, I'm new. But either way, so we have Nicole, we have Anne Marie, we have Alex, Jim, and Julie. So welcome. And they are always here usually at 10 o'clock before the meeting, when we meet for accountability. So again, welcome. All right, the cultural award. Are you presenting or there's a video? Oh, okay. All right, so Royce was the culture award recipient last month and he chose Jeff Stedman. So Jeff is a great mentor for all the commercial guys in the office. He always has a positive attitude and his door is always open. Literally, it is always open. If you need to bounce commercial real estate related ideas off someone, Jeff has a great sense of humor and he makes the office a fun place to work. So Well said by Royce. And is Jeff here? Okay. Okay.
Probably in his office with the door open.
He is probably open, yeah. Or
I'll
I might
make
see
sure-
him like shimmy down the hall right now, to grab the award. So congratulations, Jeff.
It's usually online. Yeah, it's usually online.
Okay, so because we had kind of a crazy February, we are actually doing January and February numbers. So this is gonna be really overwhelming because there's a lot of them, which means that we are going to be congratulating a lot of people. And I want to hear you clapping because the numbers are great, as well as, again, it's something that's fun. It's fun to celebrate people's wins. So, we'll go through this, so just bear with me. All right, so cappers, we have January cappers where we have Paige, we have Wendy, we have Scott, February cappers, we have. Come on up.
And you guys, this is just.
10 months free.
Roy said some good stuff about.
I'm disappointed it's not 11, Scott.
Oh.
Because of the office transfer.
You're just teasing you.
He's like, actually it was, but.
You gotta give someone a hard time.
I love that.
Did you hear that Scott was saying?
Let the group was free.
No,
Yeah.
no
No,
dollar.
no company
So-
dollar.
Yep, and Jose also was a capper,
I don't
so,
think he's
yeah,
in here.
so fantastic, congratulations to everyone.
That's awesome.
And Jose also gets 10 months free too. So-
Congratulations, Amy, on your first closing.
Or just the award at the open house.
All right, so here we go. Listings taken for January, we had Amy Black with 2. We have Ashley with 2, Colleen with 2, Alex with 1. This is taking volume, we have Amy Black with 1.8. Kevin Panther with 2.5. Ashley with 7.9. What's really fun to see about those numbers is the individual agents, again, taking listings. I know sometimes we go over numbers and it's like, oh, it's great, that's fun. But that's a huge win, not just for the market center, but for you individually, because right now it's a time where there are a lot of teams or people that have been veteran agents that, are, you know, really honed in on their listing appointment. So congratulations to you guys, because that's huge. Closed volume for the individual, Scott Nagel at 740, Jacob Milton at 640. January closed CI, we have Scott Nagel, number 1, Scott in. All right, top individual teams, listings taken, we have in January, the Strobel Group, at 4. Volume in January, we had Strobel at 1.7. Listing taken volume for February, Strobel Group at 8.5. All right, so closed volume, we have January, we have Jose Hilario at 2.2. Okay, can we talk about that piece in January is huge. That is a huge number for January. And that all has to do with that continual lead gen, right? And I think that's actually one of their larger Januaries. So it's not like, oh, that's when all of his listings are. But being very purposeful on where you're making sure those closings come in.
Yeah, 'cause he's selling stuff and November and December.
Right. Yep.
Right during the holidays.
Yep.
When other people aren't.
Yep.
So.
And I say this because a lot of times when we go even through the ALC, right? Most people are in the red in January, right? It's like I'm paying things out, but I'm not bringing the GCI in. So 2.2 in January is pretty remarkable. So yeah.
Can I add to that? I just, in talking with them too, their conversations during November and December, are like, this is the time to capitalize because we probably aren't gonna have to negotiate and go up against a lot of other people. And so they're to like have those conversations, which they shared with me that they do have to kind of capitalize on when other people aren't as busy. And so, and it really shows.
Yeah, that's super awesome. All right, Stover Group at 439 and then Cole and Company at 50,000. January of the Mario team, the Stover Group, and then and then we switch it up a little bit and it's the Jose Hilario team. And then it's Stover Group. All right, top teams listings taken. We have January with an exceptional home team. We have February listings taken, exceptional home team with one. Listings taken volume, we have Desmarais Enterprise at 1.3. Home team and taken volume for February, we have exceptional home team at 7.5. Closed volume in January, we have Desmarais Enterprises at 1.7. Did you sell the house and they bought it, or it's the exact same number?
Eric's not sure.
Oh,
Is that a dual agency deal or?
it was.
Oh, it was?
I had to double check.
Yeah, it was.
I was like, oh, okay, I was like, I don't understand.
I mean, that's not by chance, no.
Yeah, I know it was.
Just happened. Like
Seriously,
ships
I'm
in the
paying
night.
attention right now. The exceptional home team for February at 989.
That's what I was distracted by, was the 100.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
It's possible, folks.
It's possible.
Was it a lot? Piece of land?
No,
No.
it's an ice castle fish.
Two-bedroom condo. Two-bedroom condo.
It's
and
a nice castle. It could have been.
Does it have a bathroom?
All right, closed GCI, Desmarais Enterprise and. So, yeah, in February, the exceptional home team, the most relative. Top groups for January, Sorrento team with 5 listings. 5. February, that's Sorrento team 4, and this is with 3. Fifteen taking volume, Sorrento team at 9 million. In February, Sorrento team at 3.8 and one more. Sorry. With a point, and Brahma Real Estate Group at 1.6. And then, Those are big numbers. Those are pretty big numbers for listings, like in the last few months of how many each month. It's more than, I mean, it's starting to get some inventory in there. All right, closed volume in January, Homer's Group with 11.9. Crazy. Lake and Luxury Group at 3.1. This is one of, I think, the best Januaries I've seen across the board for agents. You know, when we're talking about where the market's at and even thinking about like the COVID times that we talk about, right? And not a ton of seasonality, but these are the, I think, largest numbers that we've seen in January in quite some time. February, the Sorrento team at 5.8, Homer's Group at 4.9. We have the Homer's Group in the number 1 spot, Lake and Luxury in 2. For February, Sorrento team in first. What makes me really happy is the people that are on these lists right here are really competitive. And I'm just watching them look at these numbers like, oh. Like it's healthy competition, but it's really fun to watch.
Katie, it would be fun to see when, like, obviously a GCI and you don't have the numbers in there.
Yeah.
That would be a fun number to see is look like a Jeff at $11 million. You calculate that number in your head. That's a monstrous year's worth of income.
Yeah.
in 1 month.
It's huge. It's huge.
And that's $350,000 in a month.
It's also one of those where having 11 million in 1 month, it just shows a reality of what's actually doable in this industry, right? Because people are like, oh, that's such a huge number. And it's like, they literally did that in 1 month. One month, right? So there is enough real estate out there to really kind of just keep pushing forward. All right, listings taken for commercial. There's just not numbers. Okay.
Yeah.
Closed volume. I'm like, that's really. All right, closed volume for January, PW Commercial Envision at 855. Closed volume for February, KW Commercial Envision at. Closed GCI for January, Stedman KW Commercial Team. For February, we have KW Commercial Envision.
And sometimes we don't always get to see commercial listings because they go into a different system.
Yep.
So sometimes they just don't carry over to our system.
And I do want to say we had multiple, so we were at, well,
Oh,
not
yeah.
we, Heather,
I was.
at the regional awards, and she went up 9 different times for our commercial teams as being top teams in
In
groups
closed
in.
volume GCI and,
Yeah, and so it's one where, I mean, Jeff's in here, Lowell, I mean, the commercial department here is, I mean, again, top in the region. And I think we take it for granted sometimes that we have such a great resource, of, you know, a lot of times residential agents go and they're like, oh, I have a commercial deal. They will take any of those commercial deals. Don't say, oh, I don't do that, because we have people that do that really well in this market center. So getting to know what that is and getting to know those agents, super proud of you guys. I mean, it's not, I mean, we have a large region. I mean, all the way out to Montana and Wyoming and, you know, we have Wisconsin. There's a lot of commercial deals that happen in those states. A lot of them actually. And for us to be going up, and by us, I mean Heather, which she was really excited about. How many times up on stage?
9 times.
How many times did I go up on stage? 9 times.
Go up and accept an award and smile.
Hopefully you had one of those big goofy dresses.
And I heard about it the whole time. I just want you to know, I went up 9 times. I was like, I was doing really well in the commercial department.
I also had a red eye later that night, so everyone that was in their nice, beautiful dresses, I was not. It was a whole ordeal.
It was a whole ordeal.
It was 9 times. I mean, it was super exciting.
So if you ever go in her office, all you see is the number 9. So I was like, we're just gonna live in this for a little bit. But nice job on the commercial side. And I think, you know, we really need to kind of get involved in that a little bit more too and get to know everybody. So
And Jose and Anna, the Jose Hilario team also.
they also were up for.
They were 4 and I believe units and some units for the
For
entire
individual,
region,
yep.
Wow.
for individual teams. So that was really exciting for them.
It's really exciting. Yeah. All right, so we are gonna go through these numbers. I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was November maybe, or I think it was November, that we talked about being positive in these numbers here. And there was discussion on why that was, you know, obviously growth of the market center, which is something that we want to do as well. So just like anything in your business, right? You can grow by doing, you know, more units or more volume, or you can put agents on your team and that's still counted as growth. For us, it's both. We want to grow our agents internally and we want to bring agents from the outside and grow the market center externally. So the goal, I believe, was by March, wasn't it? To have all positive numbers. So going through this one in January and then looking at February, you guys, it's actually really cool. And I don't know if this is like you put it out there and it just happens kind of thing. But it's cool to see. So closed units, we are down 6%. The MLS is down, and this is for January. The MLS was down 13% and our area was down 9%. So we were outpacing all of it for that. Closed volume, we were down 12, which we were kind of on pace with the MLS, which was also down 12, and our area was down 2%. Listings taken, we were up 8.9%, which you can kind of see as those numbers are going through. The MLS was down 8%. So if there's one thing that you guys should be putting in any of your social media or any of your appointments, I don't care if you have a listing or not. Our market center is up by 8.9% and the MLS is down by 8%. We are outpacing where that is by 16%, which means that it's more and more we're going to be taking market share.
We're outpacing it by 200%.
That's right. But that's huge, right? Like that's the number that you guys can put up at any point in time, like any of these. Areas down 2%. We are up 9.6% in listings taken volume. MLS is down 3%, and the area is up 8%. Is that new construction? Like, what, speak to that?
You know what's that?
Listings taken volume for our area. Like, is that why that's happening? Why is it, you know what I mean? That's pretty close.
Question. A lot of homes were listed sold in this project.
I'm talking about the area though.
Yeah, and also within our, but that's also all in our area. You know, just the same, but, and they were expensive, you know.
Does anybody know what the makeup of our area is of new construction versus previously sold homes?
That number, I'm
Tony?
sorry.
No.
Okay. Listings sold, we're down 2%. MLS is down 13%. Our area is down 9%. Listings sold volume, we're down 9%. Our area is down 12%. And then our area is down 2%. This number is super cool. Contracts written, we are in a positive of 8.3%, which what does that mean?
Got upcoming closing.
Yes, and what does that mean though in regards to all these numbers for the following month?
They'll be better.
They'll be positive, or they should be positive in the next 2-3 months, right? And when you look at that, right, MLS is down 9.9% and our area is down 6%. So again, we are outpacing not just the MLS, but we're taking even more market share in our area, which is huge. That's huge, right? I mean, when you just saw those numbers of February and January, We already had larger months than we'd had in previous years. You should be really excited about this. Like when I'm saying, hey, what's good? What's happening? What's bucket fills? And everyone's like, this is what you should be excited about, right? Contracts written volume were down by 11.7%, and MLS is down 7%, and then our area is up 1%. Let's move to February. So wait, hold on a second. Let's go back to January. We had 3 positives, in January, 3 positive numbers. Let's go to February, yeah. And we have 5 positives in February. So we only have 3 negative numbers in February. So as we were kind of saying, we wanted all positive numbers by March. It is absolutely doable, especially when you see closed units being one of them, and we had written contracts that was positive last time, and positive again this month. So that's really exciting. Like that is incredibly exciting. So February, closed units, we're down by 1%. The MLS is down by 12%. And the area is down by 7%. Closed volume, we're down by 9%. MLS is down by 10. Again, this month we were, outpacing it a little bit, but not much. And then our area is up, a little shy of 0.5%. Listings taken, we're up 15.6%. MLS is down 5. Area is down 1. Our listings taken volume is up 18.2%. MLS is down, it's almost a break. And our area up is 10%. Listings sold, we're up 3.1. MLS is down by 12% and the area is down by 7. Listings sold volume, we are still in the negative on that at 5.2. Our MLS is down 10%, and then the area is a little shy of 0.5% on that. Listing contracts or contracts written, we're at 19.2. What was January again?
I think it was
8.3, and then we went all the way up double digits into 19.2. That's a big jump. That's a really big jump. And the MLS is still down by 7.4%, as well as the area by 5%. Contracts written volume, we're up by 28%. MLS is down 4%, and the area is up 3%. What do you guys take from these numbers? Like, numbers are great, but if you don't know what this means or what you're going to take from this or how this affects you and your business, it's just a number, right? So what is your take on all of these? Rick?
I think the big numbers there are listings taken and contracts written, which is we need to be prepared for the future because this is all of those are we're gonna close in the next month or two, right?
Yep.
So those are the ones that are most critical.
Yeah.
And then you look back at the other ones that are a little bit smaller numbers with like the listings sold. Well, that's stuff that we sold and are trying to and close from the past. So we're definitely shifting fast, into getting more contracts and getting more sales.
And when you're looking at this, right? I mean, when you're up on listings taken volume, you're up on listings taken, and you're up on written contracts, those first 2 negative numbers should or will be very close to being positive by next month and the following month. I mean, the way that the numbers look, right? And then in regards to listings sold volume, it's the same thing, right? If that's up by 18% in the next few months, that should also be in a positive. And you're not seeing those shifts as much in the MLS or in the area. Quite honestly, I think that the area kind of fluctuates a little bit, right? Because I think it really does fall on some of the higher end sales and it's not as consistent, right, as maybe the other two, but.
Another big one, when you look at this area, I've had some buyers for a long time and that's because there's no houses. And now you got the area going up 10% in listings taken, and you've got us going up 18% in listings taken. So there are houses out there for buyers, and there's 2 things here. One, it's an optimistic future perspective to share with the buyers that if we know for a fact that listings are up 10%, that's a lot, and it's early in the year because normally they start going up in April and May, and we're starting a little bit earlier. And the other thing is in our market center, they're up 20%, and I'm talking to all the other agents about whether they're willing to sell something off market.
Yeah.
just something for our buyers right now.
Well, and part of that, I mean, we had a discussion with some of the top agents the other day and we were talking about listings, right? So we're sitting there with the top agents in the market center that you saw the numbers coming out on those, right? They're taking 3, 4, 5 listings a month. And yet the discussions that I have with them is, I don't have enough listings, right? I'm having trouble getting listings. Not because they don't have listings right now, but they do know the opportunity that they have sitting in front of them, right? Of like, there are more listings. And the conversation I actually said is, if you don't have enough listings right now, and you know, a lot of them are like, hey, inventory is gonna go up in the next 3 months. How? How is inventory gonna go up if we're not taking this? Well, that means other people are taking them, right? So it's there. You just need to be willing to, you know, go find it, whether or not it's an open house, whether or not it's your website, whatever you're doing, it's lead generation. I'm gonna go back to this, right? Like, you need to lead generate. Like, I think right now is the time where, you know, I love that Rick said, hey, I was behind last year, and that was because you kind of got so caught up in everything else that lead generation was not the thing you were focused on. Because you didn't have to. You could just like go somewhere and someone's like, I'll buy a house. I have to list a house. And there wasn't much you had to do, right? There is now. And just because you need to do a little bit more doesn't mean that there is an opportunity out there. It's actually out there now more than ever, in my opinion. What else do you guys see from these numbers?
Opportunity.
Where?
Everywhere. I mean, every single line. There's opportunity.
No. Is anyone gonna put these numbers into their listing packet or share them?
We have all these slides.
Like, are you
available
proud
for
of these
everyone.
numbers? Cause I'm proud of these numbers. Like, I'm not the one that's putting these numbers out, right? But it has been a long haul where there has been a lot of negative out there on all 3 columns, right? And I think that part of it too is we have more opportunity now. Like, there's positives again. I don't know. All last year, I think the MLS was pretty much negative in all of that. And so were we, right? And so were other market sectors. So truly, I don't think this is a time to be nervous about anything. It should be a time to be incredibly excited. Colleen.
When things are not super easy to understand, and when the economy is not going the way that we sort of wish it was, people need advisors. They need people that they can trust. They need people that they can lean into and who can tell them, yes, it's not exactly what we hoped for, and that's not a bad thing. If somebody's buying and selling in the same market, they're going to be in a really good place. If somebody is selling in this market, they're going to be in a great place. And you know what? If you work hard, you can get every single one of your buyers a home. It's a good time to be a realtor. It's a really important time to be an informed realtor. That's how we have value.
I loved Kylie's post or her reel the other day, right? I mean, at that point, Colleen, a lot of people are talking about interest rates, which we just talked about, right? And it was interesting because everyone's like, oh, I can't buy a house at, 6, 7, whatever percent, yada, yada, yada. And I think she put out there, she was like, yeah, but your car's at 8.5%, your credit card's at 17+%, and yet you're all doing that, right? Like, it's insane. I mean, we talked about this, like, in regards to lending. They look at their performance and it's like people's car payments are like $1,500. What? I honestly think that like a mortgage payment is at that, you know what I mean? But it's a car. So people are doing this. It's just, we focus on this interest rate, right? And then they focus on that because that's the only thing that they know to focus on. Inform them, and then they can figure out if it's the right time for them or not. I think,
It's not coming down
no.
3% again. It's just not,
Mhm.
right? I mean, people have to realize like, this is where we live now. And this is what it is,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you look at the slides from family reunion regarding the interest rate, it hasn't been down, it's never been down that low, As a
Yeah,
person.
I mean, that's not even sustainable. Like, we could talk about that all day long. That's not a sustainable, like, interest rate at all. What else are you guys getting from these numbers?
Yeah, well, another thing that's just to piggyback off the interest rates, you know, one of the slides I think Family Union or something, where they talked about, I think, was it 40% of the homes in America are owned free and clear? Okay, and then we also heard that there's 11,000 and some people turned 65 the other day on one
that was-
day.
Every day.
40% of people are 65 years old, so they're doing something different. They own their houses free and clear. Geez, could I negotiate with those people to do it, sell me their home on a contract for deed? Not take the mortgage out of this thing, but at 4, 5, 6%, and I don't need a mortgage?
Yeah.
You said, would you be willing to sell your home contract for deed? So you can not only capture the 400,000, but you can also capture 6% annually?
I hadn't heard, I mean, contract for deed was huge back in like for a long time. I mean, it was a all the time. I mean, I would say percentage wise, it was every day you'd hear someone doing contract for deed. And then it just stopped because of interest rates, right? It just, what was the point?
Sometimes it helps those people because obviously the capital gains on some of these houses they've been in for so long, they're gonna have more than what they can get from capital gains. So hey, a contract for deed actually can spread that out and make it a better scenario.
Yeah.
I think when I look at these numbers and I think about a lot of people having really great Januaries, I think of two things. One, a lot of the people whose names up there, they understand how to talk about not just real estate, they understand how to talk about money, and they understand how to talk about wealth building. And when one of the slides from Family Reunion was, you know, the difference in net worth between a homeowner versus a renter. And years ago, I mean, probably 7+ years ago, Gary Keller drew the letter K on a flip chart. And he said, we are in this economy. And it stuck with me forever. And I'll often draw that for my buyers when they have conversations around, well, I can't afford what I want. Well, we're in a K economy right now. The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. Which side do you want to be on? Like, you either get into the game now and you build up equity, pay down a mortgage, but you have to know how to talk about money in a way that obviously you're not giving them lending advice, but you can talk about that enough that they feel empowered to go get pre-approved and to make a good decision. And I think on the flip side, like, I've struggled with some of our older people that do own their homes free and clear and just they don't have the motivation to move, but they need to, which was really cool because the other day Shane shared in our mastermind, he used a script about, you know, how good and free would you feel if this part was done for you and all you had to focus on is where you want to move to. And that I'm going to use that moving forward. And I think if you're struggling, make a list of the objections or the types of people that you're getting objections from, and then find out how the other people are handling those objections, because there's so much advice in the office that people can mastermind around.
Well, and everyone has room for growth and learning, right? Like, I think we sometimes think like, oh, you know, Homer sells 11 million in 1 month. He would even say, I have room for growth on all of the things, whether or not it's scripting, whether or not it's, okay, how do you deal with that objection? Is it lead gen? Is it systems? Like, everybody has room. So staying in the curiosity of like, oh, just because you saw those names up on the board, trust me, it's not all together. And guess what? Those people are still in this room, or they're on there. They're listening and they're learning always. That's why they're up there, right? That's why those numbers happen. It's not because it's like, oh, I know it, and I don't need to expand in any way. Anything else regarding these at all? Right. So this is year-over-year comparison for us last year to this year. So closed units in 2024 for January, we were at 57. 2023, we're at 41. Closed volume, we're at 29 versus 21 in the year previous. Listings taken, we were at 49 versus 2023. Listings taken volume, we're at 43 million versus 12. Because that's huge.
This is crazy. This is crazy.
Those are huge numbers. Okay. And guess what? I'm going to be completely honest. We didn't have that much growth in our market center of agents that were gained. Okay. So this is not that. This is people that are actually getting in production, or people that were already in production taking market share.
Your average sales price has doubled.
Like that, those are huge numbers, you guys. Listings sold 31 versus 2023, which was 16. Listings sold volume was 16.9 versus 7.7. Contracts written was 56 versus 47. And then contracts written volume was 29.2 versus 27. And then closed GCI was 636 versus 710 in the previous year. And then profit share,
I'll have to double check.
what?
The GCI.
Oh,
That's an interesting number. That's a big swing backwards.
I didn't look at that one. I'd have to look at it.
I don't know though. I don't know if that's off.
Yeah.
We'll double check, but I don't know if that's off. And then profit share, we have 0 versus 52 the year before.
2023 was 471,000.
For GCI.
Oh, I thought you were talking about 2024.
For February, closed GCI was 471,964.
Oh, sorry, January.
Oh, January?
I figured.
Okay.
Well, you never know about my eyes.
I figured.
This last year, so.
Some of that though, I mean, let's be really transparent, okay? You guys are probably thinking why, right? Some of that is commission, right? So if what we're seeing right now in the market is people, you know, I mean, you just talked about this, Chris, and the deal that you're doing. People are cutting their commission and they're cutting a lot. In our market center, if you are going to cut your commission, that is a conversation, if it's down past a certain point, that is going to be had with the broker or myself, right? Because there is a standard. We don't have a fixed commission. That's not what we have, Kevin, I know. However, it is a discussion to be had just in regards to how you're going to script around that for the value that you're bringing, right? So that's a huge piece to that. Right? That's why the GCI is lower than it was, even though the other numbers were up.
I would love,
It's the reverse. 2023 was 636.
Oh, is
2024
it?
was 710. So
Sorry
yeah,
about
they
that.
are reversed. Sorry.
They
you're
are.
in the wrong.
Sorry.
But that's still.
It's still, it is.
From the number.
It is, but
Yeah.
correct.
What were you gonna say?
I'm trying to think of how to say this nicely.
I'm glad you're on that seat, not me.
I just feel really passionate about how we get paid and for how hard we work for how we get paid. And if you're cutting there's a saying, in the absence of value, price becomes the determining factor. And I just want to encourage you that stop focusing on needing to cut your commission to get a deal done. How do you make sure you're communicating your value in a way that commission doesn't even become a subject? We just signed a 6.5% listing because we show them three, I can talk about this because I think almost everyone in here is brokered by the same broker. But we have a sheet I'm happy to share with anyone. It's 6%, 6.5 in the middle, and 7%. And I literally will tell people, I don't think you need the 7% because of the condition of your home. We don't need to do all the staging, blah, blah, blah. But I do think you need the 6.5 because you get this additional value with our marketing and photography. They pick the 6.5, like they pick the middle one. No one wants the cheap option. You just have to know how to
Question
communicate.
the cheap option every single time. You're like, oh, what am I not getting? And do I really want that? Like, put yourself in any scenario where there's 1, 2, and 3. And also you're like, I don't want to be cheap. I mean, some people pride themselves in that. Other people are like, I don't want that. Like,
Yeah,
the other be in the middle.
The other thing we do is, and you're allowed to do this, we increase our broker admin fee. I know there's people that pay that for their clients. Stop doing that. Like you can we increase it by $200. So we charge $6.99 and $200 goes to our team. What's kind of funny is we actually gift the client back $75 in a gift card when they leave us 5-star reviews on 3 platforms. Like you can build all of this into your business to be highly profitable.
I don't know if Kevin's on here, but he would say.
If Kevin was on here, he would already close the conversation down. I was like, go do your thing. And don't watch the recording.
Excited right now.
He's totally gonna yell at me later.
So I heard this a long time ago, and we talk about commissions. It's calling it a professional fee, my professional fee versus my commission sounds,
Yeah.
you're a professional.
Yeah.
Professional compensation, professional fee versus calling it a commission. It just sounds like, hey, yeah.
One more thing, since I'm already in trouble, is
Keep it going, Bethany, keep it
the other
going.
thing that has really helped too is on the net sheet, we list out the difference between listings and buy side. Like they need to understand, even though you go through it in the paperwork, they need to understand when they see that large dollar amount on the net sheet, that that's not all going to you. And my script around that is, this is the amount that will go to Keller Williams. This is the, and I actually then go from there and I say, this is the amount that will go to Keller Williams. They're gonna take their share of that. Then what's left, I use to market your home, and hopefully I have enough left to bring home and feed my dogs. And people always like chuckle, and then we move on to the buyer commission, and I explain that. But I think if you explain those things and break it out, I really don't get pushback on commission.
I was just gonna ask, based on that, do you ever get, you said you don't get pushback. So the question I would have though is if they were interviewing other agents, if they were able to say, well, what you're offering at 6.5, the agent who was just in here before you, well, they're offering me, you know, all the luxury marketing and staging, and they're offering me that at 6. You're telling me it's 6.5 or 7. Like, how do you combat that?
One, I've never, ever,
somebody
like,
said
I
that.
can't even tell you, I don't think, and Jess could correct me, I don't think I've dropped my commission in years. Like, I don't drop my commission, number one. Number two is I think when you explain all of your value up front, and during that conversation, you ask closing questions. When I go through the net sheet, they're already like signed, like it's pretty, I haven't signed them actually, but they're already pretty confident that they're gonna work with us. My counter to that though, if someone did give me that, is I would probably push on the fact that our marketing is still better. And then I would probably dig into some of our numbers on how we sold the highest priced home in this area, or if we sold a house in multiple offers in, 24 hours, or pull some of that out. And if I really need to, like the last time I did actually get asked to cut my commission recently, and I didn't get the listing, but I felt very okay about it because it's my dad's friend who's like the cheapest human in the world. And but with that, I just explained to him, I said, any agent that's going to reduce their commission is not going to fight as hard for you as I would. And I feel at peace about saying, like, if I'm not the right fit for you, then that's okay. Like, if they're willing to reduce their commission, how hard do you think that they're going to fight to protect your money?
The other piece to that is, again, I talk to quite a few agents often, and the presentation that most agents have that are willing to cut their commission, I can guarantee you is nowhere near the presentation that Bethany puts on, right? Or anyone that's gonna say, hey, I'm at 6.5 or 7%, right? You're coming there prepared, it's your profession, and you are fully in on what is their motivation, what is my value, how is that matching, right? The person that comes in and is like, oh yeah, no, I can do it for 5.5, you can feel that. And I remember when I was a new agent and I was like, I'll do it for 5.5 because I just want a listing, right? I was like, I'll do it for 4. Do you want me to? Like, you don't have to pay me, right? Like, because you feel that though. You feel that as a new agent. And when you come in and you are incredibly confident in what you're bringing someone, that changes that dynamic instantly. And that's probably also why I don't get a lot of questions about cutting it, because number one, there's no cutting. You have an option. You have 3 options and there isn't a 4th. So either we go through this and you either sign, or we go our separate ways. We might not be the right fit, but it almost takes the objection completely out of there. I also think that it is past 12 if anyone needs to leave.
One thing we encourage our agents on our team that don't have as much experience and don't have the track record to back up what they're saying, you have it all around you. I mean, these numbers speak volumes about the experience of everyone that's around you and the people that you have access to and the people that you can consult with. So use each other in this office to help you get that business.
And the different businesses that each of them run, right? I mean, everyone's business is so different. You see, there might be even price point wise, it's different, right? Like, everyone runs their business differently that was up here. I can't tell you two teams or two individual agents or groups that run their business the same. Honestly, I could not share any of that from this market center or other agents that I know. So it's always a process of learning. Let's go right to wants and needs. We can also talk about this at our next meeting, as well, and if there's different topics that you wanna move forward with. All right, spin the wheel. If your name is up here, come stand in line. Let's create a line over here. And you get to spin for cash.
Buddy, you going?
Lots of cash.
Friday or January or February, feel free to come up.
So yeah, this is January and February, and if you have a listing that went active in those and your name's not up here, we trust you, come up here anyways, but it does have to be active. All right.
Close. I mean, for like the one out here. Winter.
Come on, big money.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
You match my nails.
I
never know.
All right.
Just wear them for the next
I know.
4
I have to tell people that I look.
Oh, okay.
All right.
And most of them believe that.
Like my open closet is.
Good though, it's fine, okay.
You have 5.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it does create- I would love to get to a, like, I love purging, and I feel like my clothes is definitely an area of my life. And I would.
There's one that-
You have really helpful clothes,
Well,
but
they were,
it's all-
they were like flex.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I aspire to that.
Yeah, there's one of the
With no shirt on and no shoes on, right?
Yeah.
golf like that.
Sure.
Go golfing like that.
That's a coffee. That's a coffee. That's not a tip.
Like, Thursday through Sunday, they were all business.
Yeah, it actually like it.
Right.
I think I'm.
Oh,
Your skin looks so.
Straight cat.
Yeah, almost.
Oh, yeah.
Put hand lotion on it today. We know it.
I don't mind. Do like, I don't know.
Please.
I struggled with how they wanted to check. Dials.
No, I just moved up to Hunter, even if they pay the bill or whatever. I just moved up to that, but I don't wash my face. I know, I have to, but I don't. And then I like, oh, if I do it, I'll wake myself up. Well, right now, no, I literally have I out like, and then coming out third and I'm playing. And we shared a room, we had, built out, and I've got.
I'm like, oh,
Really peaceful. Okay. Great. Oh. What do we do with that? Quadruple it? We have that. Okay.
It's dry. Just use like a regular.
At least. If you look.
Not get the money that got.
Search rent back in.
I am so glad. 30 years today, and I didn't.
Hey, Mike, how you doing? Great.
Yeah. So it's.
Oh. As long as she's got the tag of the back door.
I saw that. I saw that.
Use their. The rent back then. Oh.